Lights, camera. This is 2024, the year at the movies, with your host, Manny the Movie Guy.
The blockbusters, the flops, the best, and the worst. Hi, I'm Manny the Movie Guy. Welcome to a celebration of everything movies. In the next hour, we'll have your favorites, the most misunderstood, and the universally loved. We'll also preview the granddaddy of movie awards, the Oscars, who deserves a nomination and who will be snubbed. And the Palm Springs International Film Festival, who's being honored. And see some of your favorite stars dish about their movies. Welcome back to the year at the movies. 2024 is in a rearview mirror now, so it's time to look back at the biggest box office winners, the losers, and what comes next. But first, the movies that brought their A game in 2024. At number 10, Kung Fu Panda 4, the martial arts animated comedy flick, might be long in the tooth, but audiences embraced it with a $194 million total box office haul. But don't discount the Monsterverse. At number 9 is Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, the fifth film in the Monsterverse franchise, roars to a $196 million revenue. At number 8, Twisters, the sequel to the 1996 Man Against Nature thriller, grossed $268 million and made a dent at the box office.
You ever seen anything like this?
And then there's Dune Part 2, a commercial and critical success. The Denis Villeneuve masterpiece sold $282 million worth of tickets, placing it at number 7.
You are not prepared for what is to come.
Number 6, another sequel, Beetlejuice. It's not as good as the first one, but it certainly earned lots of coins. $294 million to be exact, and that's just at the North American box office.
It's intense.
Number 5, the first of the 3 Walt Disney entries in the top 10, Moana 2 at $337 million and counting. The sequel has already eclipsed its predecessor, but together, both Moana 1 and 2 have grossed over $1 billion. Cha-ching!
Bring it on!
At number 4, Wicked. The musical continues to defy gravity at the box office, earning $359 million. It also became the best PG-rated first-day ticket pre-seller of the year. Popular.
All aboard the Emerald City!
At number 3, Despicable Me 4. The Minions return, bringing in $361 million box office take with them. Quite respectable. And then we have Deadpool and Wolverine. It's smart, it's funny, it's violent, but with a total take of $637 million, this Walt Disney and Marvel title earned the spot on number 2 and became the highest grossing R-rated Disney film, surpassing the record set by Pretty Woman. And did you know that its trailer became the most viewed of all time, surpassing Spider-Man No Way Home? And another Disney title sits atop as the number 1 box office film of 2024, Inside Out 2. It has surpassed The Lion King to become the highest grossing animated film of all time and is currently the 8th highest grossing film ever. With $653 million box office take, it has also surpassed Incredibles 2 as the highest grossing Pixar film of all time. Very impressive.
Think positive!
Well, we've talked about the winners, but what about the box office losers? Coming up, the best box office bombs of 2024, the flops. But first, Wicked became one of the biggest moneymakers this year. I spent some time with Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh, who plays the mysterious Madame Morrible in the film.
Oh, hello, Miss
Hi,
Michelle.
Manny. Oh my God, you have me at the back of you.
Yes.
Scary.
And a big congrats, or should I say congratulations on Wicked.
Welcome, new students. And congratulations for having been accepted to Shiz.
So when director John M. Chu offered you the part, what did you think?
I was like, I don't sing. Why are you giving me the role to me? And he says, it's not about the singing, it's about the character. We have nothing but the highest hopes for some of you.
How was it working with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, aka Elphaba and Glinda?
They are like the perfect yin and yang.
Yeah.
You know, they just fit so well together, but at the same time, you can see they are so different but the same, so talented, and not for a second feeling entitled that this is for sure. You know, they're so hardworking, and I love having that, to be part of that very loving family, that bond. And that was throughout the set. It was throughout behind the camera, in front of the camera. Everybody wanted to be there. Everybody wanted the opportunity to be at their best and to be able to bring this legacy to life.
Welcome back to the year at the movies. We talked about the biggest box office winners, but what about the losers? Here are the biggest box office flops of 2024. At number 10, Joker Folie à Deux. The sequel failed to sing at the box office. Audiences were confused. Was it a musical, a fever dream? The Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga partnership bombed and reportedly lost Warner Brothers Pictures almost $200 million. Ouch.
I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
Kevin Costner enters at number 9 with Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1. At this point, do not count on even seeing Chapter 2. With a budget of $50 million and a box office haul of $38 million, this Western failed to make a splash and lost Costner $38 million of his own money he put into the project.
I'm just saying that's something you might want to keep in mind.
At number 8, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. If you don't even remember this film, you're forgiven. This star-studded action spectacle is actually good. Guy Ritchie directs it with flair, and Henry Cavill is always charming. But flair and charms failed to sell tickets, and the film grossed less than half of its $60 million budget.
Abort this mission now.
And then we have The Crow at number 7. Fans ignored this remake of the 90s classic, making only $24 million against its $50 million budget.
I shouldn't have seen any of it.
And Star Power can't sell tickets anymore. Just look at Fly Me to the Moon at number 6. Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum failed to heat up the box office, with this charming film making only $40 million with a budget of $100 million.
And we're dead. Again.
At number 5, one of the worst superhero movies of all time, Madam Web. Even Dakota Johnson couldn't save this box office and critical disaster, making only $44 million in North America against its $100 million budget. With Morbius before it and then Kraven the Hunter after, this puts the nail in the coffin of the planned Sony's Spider-Man universe.
You don't think this is weird?
And proving that not every video game can be turned into blockbusters, Borderlands enters the worst flop list at number 4. Director Eli Roth failed to use his amazing cast in order to capture the zaniness of the video game series it's based on. Its studio, Lionsgate, lost about $30 million with the release of the film.
Are we really waiting for this to finish?
And poor Henry Cavill, another movie he's in, failed to make money at the box office. Argyle enters the worst flop list at number 3. This over-the-top spy flick is quite entertaining, but audiences decided to stay home. The film only made $96.2 million against its $200 million budget. But despite its poor performance, its distributor, Apple TV, is planning a prequel. How optimistic of them.
It's called a cop-out.
And at number 2, the Forrest Gump team failed to win at the box office. Director Robert Zemeckis reteams with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright for Here. It chronicles various events that take place in one specific spot. It's a visual experiment that fizzled. With a budget of $50 million, Here only made $13 million. And the biggest box office disappointment of 2024 is Megalopolis. This is heartbreaking to report. We all love Francis Ford Coppola, and we all love when someone is following their passion. The great Coppola spent $120 million of his own money to finance this bloated passion project that no one came to see, making only $13.7 million. Mega Flopolis indeed.
Don't let the now destroy the forever.
Many industry experts are saying streaming services have had a significant impact in the movie industry. Coming up, the state of the streaming platforms and what comes next. Welcome back at the year of the movies. We've talked about the blockbusters and the flops, and now let's talk about the one thing that's affecting the industry right now, the streaming services. As of 2024, the streaming media landscape is dominated by several key players, and most of them are probably in your home right now. Like Netflix, the streaming giant has a robust content library and a strong focus on original programming catering to a wide, diverse audiences. Disney Plus is also a major contender with its bundling of Hulu and ESPN Plus. Where else can you find Marvel and Pixar movies all waiting for you at your convenience? Amazon Prime Video is also a major player. Besides original content, the platform has exclusive rights to major events like the NFL Thursday Night Football. High-quality programming has always been at the heart of HBO Max, and it continues to carve out a niche for premium content like The Last of Us and Game of Thrones. But if award-winning shows and movies are your jam, Apple TV Plus is the ticket. The home of Ted Lasso, The Morning Show, and the Oscar-winning Coda, among others, Apple TV Plus spells high quality. But one of my favorite TV series this year is not on Apple TV Plus. It can be found on Netflix. It's Steven Zaillian's Ripley. It's grit in black and white. Take a look at my interview with stars Andrew Scott, Dakota Fanning, and Johnny Flynn.
May I ask you to describe Thomas Ripley?
Hi guys! Hey. A big congrats on Ripley. It's an engrossing film noir, but it's also a great character study, and I love it.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
It's a good story.
Thank you.
He's a very famous literary character, so obviously I had a sort of knowledge of him before. He's been in many iterations before, so just to join that. But I think what was really special was it got all the script, which is very unusual. It got the whole 8 episodes, 8 hours of television, so it was just extraordinarily written.
He came to Italy, moved into Dickie's house. He just wouldn't go away.
She just doesn't trust him right from the start. And so there's a real kind of cat and mouse between them that you get to see. And there's a lot of wonderful scenes where they're saying niceties to each other, right. But what's underneath is that they sort of hope they, jump out the window. I mean, you know what I mean? They really
I can't wait for the gifts.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You crazy?
I don't trust him.
Dickie has created himself as this bohemian artist in his mind.
Right.
Hilariously. You like art, Tom?
I think it's incredibly involving as a story. I mean, Patricia Highsmith is just the queen of compulsive crime writing. I mean, there really is nobody better. And I think Steve has just distilled that quality really expertly. So it does really draw you in, and he plays with pace in an extraordinary way. And he focuses in on things that are not normally focused in on in relation to stories of this nature. And also you have these really fascinating, slightly murky characters that you side with sometimes, and sometimes you really don't. And so it's a very intelligent piece.
It makes you question yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think it'll make the audience.
Who am I supposed to root for?
Exactly.
Rooting for the wrong person or the right person?
Thank you so much, you guys. Good luck on everything again.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
Welcome back. We continue our special look at 2024, the year at the movies. What are some of the best movies of the year? We broke it down by genre and we'll begin with my favorite horror movies of 2024. There are quite a few scary flicks I enjoyed, like The First Omen. Nell Tiger Free carries the film from start to finish with director Arkasia Stevenson's deft direction. There's also I Saw the TV Glow. This smart film about a cult TV series is an identity crisis drama masquerading as a monster mash. There's also Late Night with the Devil. Demon possession and talk shows collide in this inspired tale about obsession. And don't forget the affecting serial killer movie Long Legs or the wickedness of Hugh Grant in The Heretic. And finally, in the horror genre, there's a tragic tale of The Substance. Watch for Demi Moore to get her first acting Oscar nomination with this film. In the documentary category, I enjoyed Will and Harper. When Will Ferrell finds out his close friend of 30 years is coming out as a trans woman, the two decide to embark on a cross-country road trip and highlights an intimate portrait of friendship and acceptance. Will and Harper is now streaming on Netflix. Another documentary I quite admired is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. This uplifting film showcases Reeve's talent, bravery, and heroism. Superman, the Christopher Reeve story is now out on Max. And it's quite crowded in my favorite action films. There's the funny and thrilling Deadpool and Wolverine. There's also the excellent Dune Part 2, which is sure to dominate Oscar talks this award season. And then there's the Fall Guy. Ryan Gosling is perfect as our favorite stuntman, and he oozes chemistry with co-star Emily Blunt. And then there's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This full throttle of an action thriller from the great George Miller is arresting with the perfect Anya Taylor-Joy as a reluctant heroine. In the fantasy category, I only have one favorite, and that is Wicked. As a super fan of the Broadway musical, I can say with all honesty that the film improved on the stage version. Each subplot is given enough weight and each character is explored, not to mention the fantastic cast headed by Cynthia Erivo as our Green Witch Elphaba and Ariana Grande as the Good Witch Glinda. In the foreign language category, let me direct your attention to Emilia Pérez, now out on Netflix. This fever dream of a musical has identity crisis at its core. There's also the seed of the circad fig that calls out Iran's authoritarian regime. Shot in secret, the film will stay with you long after the credits. I also enjoyed All We Imagine as Light. Set in Mumbai, the film speaks volumes about the transformative power of friendship. In the romantic comedy category, there's The Idea of You, starring Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galitzin in a May-December affair that goes after your heart. There's also Hitman, which is technically an action film, but Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona create indelible chemistry that their love story becomes the heart of the film. I also enjoyed many animated films this year, but there are three standouts, like Flow, containing no dialogue. The film follows the adventures of a black cat whose home is devastated by a great flood. You'll laugh and cry. Speaking of crying, you will also shed a tear or two in The Wild Robot. It's about friendship, fostering a community, and facing adversity. And I also enjoyed Inside Out 2. Teenage emotions run rampant in this delightful tale about growing up. And there are quite a few dramatic films that are worthy of mentioning as some of the year's best. There's Challengers from director Luca Guadagnino. This love triangle blends passion and sports into a symbiotic romance about competition and ambition. I also enjoyed Baby Girl. Nicole Kidman is fantastic as a high-powered CEO who puts her career and family on the line when she begins an affair with a much younger intern. I'm also recommending A Complete Unknown, largely because of Timothée Chalamet's performance as a young Bob Dylan. And then there's a scene stealing Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain. Watch for him get some Oscar love as the manic-depressive Benji. I also enjoyed Anora from Sean Baker. This unpredictable romp is about a sex worker named Anora who might just get her chance at a Cinderella story. Conclave also earns a spot. Who knew that selecting a new pope can be thrilling and intriguing? It also deserves to get the best ensemble of the year. And then there's The Brutalist. Adrian Brody is getting Oscar buzz as visionary architect Laszlo Toth, a Holocaust survivor who migrates to the United States in pursuit of the American dream. You've seen the best? What about the worst? Coming up, from superheroes to epic movies, these are the films that made me cringe at the box office. Welcome back. You saw some of the best films of 2024, but what about the worst? Are you ready? Here they are. Let's begin in the superhero category with Joker: Folly Ado. Director Todd Phillips followed up his highly regarded 2019 origin story of Batman's nemesis with an unsatisfying and head-scratching sequel. Is Joker a villain, a make-believe? Is he just crazy? By the end of the film, you will not care. Like its anti-hero, the film has an identity crisis. It wants to be a musical but is afraid to embrace it, and it wants to be a political satire but wimps out in the end. Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix have absolutely no chemistry. It is a boring fiasco. There's also the sluggish Madam Web. This ho-hum Marvel misfire has plenty of bad dialogue and bad acting, wasting the talent of Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney. Don't get trapped in this web. And then there's a superhero movie that ended Sony's Spider-Man universe, Kraven the Hunter. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe try hard to save the film, but fail. It is hilariously awful, but at more than 2 hours, it's a punishment. In the horror category, the worst film is Tarot. There's nothing new with this cliched outing. There's an evil entity haunting a specific set of tarot cards. A group of teens unleashed it. One by one, they're killed until the entity is defeated. The end. There's nothing scary in this film, but there's a lot of unintentional laughs. But the scariest part? The movie made a bunch of money, so get ready for the sequel. In the dramatic category, there's the biopic Wannabe Reagan. Made like a propaganda movie, the Reagan here is not human but a character in a fairy tale. It's an infomercial masquerading as a movie. But wait, there's more. Dennis Quaid turns in a made-for-TV performance in a by-the-numbers aw shucks of a movie. And let's not forget Megalopolis, the passion project that failed to ignite our curiosity. Pretentious dialogue is just one of the problems of this overstuffed, overlong, and overwrought Francis Ford Coppola experiment. It lacks the smarts of The Godfather, the excitement of Apocalypse Now, or the heart of Peggy Sue Got Married. What we got is an underdeveloped film that could have worked better as a television series. One of the stars that always appears in the year-end worst list is the perennial favorite, Lindsay Lohan. In 2024, she appeared in a Netflix film. It's a sweet but ho-hum Irish Wish. Here she is and her co-stars to talk about the movie.
What brings you to Ireland?
A wedding.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh no, it's not mine. It's my friend's.
Hi guys.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful.
I can't believe Paul and Emma are getting married.
You balance me out, Madeline.
I love Maddie's character. I like that she's a sweet girl who knows what she wants. She's not exactly afraid. She's afraid in the beginning to kind of speak up for herself, and she finds her voice, and I love that. And I also love being able to shoot with a best friend and have fun on set, which is always important to me. So there were a lot of parts of it that I loved.
By the way, I love the whole look.
Thank you.
Vibe. Right? Her vibe.
I wish I was marrying Paul Kennedy.
You know, Miss Ayesha, it's hard. The film is, you really cannot out-magic love, right? Love is bound to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's a good way to, I like that.
Yeah.
You can't out-magic love.
You can.
I love that.
Oh.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think that's so true, and you'll definitely see that throughout the film with Maddie in like more ways than one. And I think that it's just so special and fun.
Hello.
It's you.
What makes a good rom-com work is the chemistry between the main leads, right? You and Lindsay have great chemistry, palpable chemistry. How was it working with her?
it's great. I mean, she is. I think the thing about chemistry is you can't necessarily force that to materialise.
Yes.
But I feel that with Lindsay and I, what worked so well is that we had a good understanding of how one another wanted to work. We had a really good rapport with each other very quickly. And I think the thing that can create that chemistry more than anything is the trust and respect for one another. And I think we had that in abundance because we both recognised people that took the work seriously, wanted to deliver something that was, yes, okay, it was sweet and funny, but you still have to take the approach seriously in order to get to that point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's how we managed to get on so well.
It's like a dream, although I'm not a
Hey. You're pretty good. So I'm gonna leave you guys with an Irish wish before I leave. May both of you live as long as you want and never want as long as you live.
Oh,
isn't that amazing?
Thank you.
I love that too.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Now's the time to speak up.
Leave me breathless.
Welcome back. We are in the middle of the award season right now. Winners of the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice Awards will be announced pretty soon. So, who will get nominated for an Academy Award? Well, let me dust off my crystal ball. Here are my Oscar predictions. For Best Supporting Actor Oscar, watch for Kieran Culkin get a nod for A Real Pain. He plays a manic, depressive character here and stole many scenes. Also watch for Yura Borisov in Anora. He gave a quiet but powerful performance. And then there's the commanding presence of Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, or newcomer Clarence Macklin, who shines in Sing Sing. And one of the best things about Gladiator 2 is Denzel Washington. He lights up the screen every time he's on, playing the villainous Macrinus. For Best Supporting Actress Oscar, Zoe Saldana has a strong chance to get a nomination as an ambitious lawyer in Emilia Pérez. Felicity Jones also gives an Oscar-worthy performance as Adrian Brody's wife in The Brutalist. Daniel Deadwyler is also great in The Piano Lesson from Netflix, and Margaret Qualley is memorable as a reborn movie star in The Substance. And I'm predicting that Ariana Grande will also get a nomination and perhaps win in her role as Glinda in Wicked. She has the voice, but she also gave us the heart and the charms of the character, who begins as the Wicked Witch's enemy and ends up being her defender. And that's why in the Best Director category, watch for Wicked director John M. Chu get a nomination, as well as Brady Corbett from The Brutalist. Sean Baker from Anora will also get a nod, as well as Edward Berger from Conclave and Denis Villeneuve from Dune Part 2. In the Best Picture category, Dune Part 2 is a lock to get a nomination, as well as The Brutalist, which is becoming the frontrunner alongside Anora. A Real Pain could score a nod, as well as Wicked. The other possible Oscar Best Picture nominees could be Emilia Pérez, Conclave, A Complete Unknown, The Substance, and Nickel Boys. For Best Actor, Adrian Brody is sure to get his second Oscar nomination and perhaps another Best Actor trophy for his performance as a Hungarian Jewish architect who moves to America after the Holocaust. Timothée Chalamet will also join the pack as a young Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. Rael Fiennes investigating the selection of a new pope in Conclave, Coleman Domingo's pitch-perfect performance in Sing Sing, and Daniel Craig may take the 5th spot in Queer as an older businessman and his journey towards sex, drugs, and alcohol. For Best Actress, bet your bottom dollar for Cynthia Erivo in Wicked. But she has tough competition with Angelina Jolie as the legendary opera great Maria Callas in Maria, Nicole Kidman as a woman grappling with her needs and her family in Baby Girl, and Demi Moore as an aging actress who will do anything to stay young in The Substance. But don't discount Marianne Jean-Baptiste as the raging, tormented Pansy in Hard Truths, or Carla Sofia Gascon in the title role of Emilia Pérez. And let's not forget Kate Winslet, who's been nominated 7 times and won once for 2008's The Reader. She stars in the biopic Lee as the photographer Elizabeth Lee Miller. I spent some time with the actress to talk about the film. Take a look.
I was born determined. I was good at drinking, having sex, and taking pictures. And I did all three as much as I could.
Hi. You have Lee reading back to front behind you.
I do, and I love it. A big congrats on Lee, an entertaining and eye-opening look at a strong woman anchored by a strong performance from you. I love it.
Thank you very much. That's incredibly kind. Thank you.
Not everyone can believe this. Surely they can see what he is.
The question is, what are you going to do, Emilia?
I knew who Lee Miller was, and I was aware of her work as a photographer. But what I could see was there was a real imbalance between the phenomenal work that she did and how she was being defined historically. She was seen through the male gaze. She was defined as someone who was the former muse of Man Ray, ex-Vogue cover girl, former model. These labels that were kind of tired and infantilizing. Lee was the most powerful, extraordinary, compassionate, brave woman.
I'm heading to the front.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Ready to go?
She went as a middle-aged woman to the front line to photograph the atrocities of the Nazi regime for the readers of British Vogue at a time when women were not allowed to go there. It was incredibly hard for her.
Leave her alone!
How she was able to bear witness, how she wouldn't hide from the truth, and her ability to document the impact on the victims of conflict and to make sure that their stories were never forgotten was incredibly, incredibly unique. And that was why I wanted to make this film.
Bad things do happen to some of us girls.
I hope that people will discover Lee Miller for the first time this way, at a time in her life, documenting the atrocities of the Nazi regime, upholding the stories of people whose legacy and lives may never have been heard of or known about, giving us a window on what it was like to be a female correspondent at that time, at the very beginning of what it means to now be a female war correspondent, having sat at the table with the men, overly deserving of their place. And it was really Lee who started that.
It is such a timely and relatable piece. So thank you so much, Miss Kate, for your passion.
Thank you very much. It's so lovely to meet you.
Not just the ones you can see.
Welcome back. We've talked about the Academy Awards, but what about one of the biggest film festivals in the world, the Palm Springs International Film Festival? So who will be visiting us for the Film Fest? Take a look. Coleman Domingo from Sing Sing will get the Spotlight Award. Actor.
I am ready to Goliath.
For Breakthrough Award, Mikey Madison from Anora will be honored.
Daniel, be a man and talk to me.
Conclave will get the Ensemble Performance Award, truly deserving.
This is a conclave, Aldo. It's not a war.
For Desert Palm Achievement Award, actor Adrian Brody is the clear winner.
I promise.
While Angelina Jolie for Maria will take home the Desert Palm Achievement Award actress.
There is no reason in opera.
Nicole Kidman is the International Star Award for Baby Girl.
I don't want to hurt you.
And Timothy Chalamet will get the Chairman's Award for A Complete Unknown.
I wanted to catch a spark.
Kieran Culkin will be honored for Breakthrough Performance Award actor.
I've just been in a real funk, I guess, since she died.
While Ariana Grande gets the Rising Star Award for Wicked.
You can do anything.
And Dune Part 2 makes an appearance with director Denis Villeneuve taking home the Visionary Award. But the one actress that I'm looking forward to seeing again is Carla Sofia Gascon. She was excellent in Emilia Pérez, now out on Netflix. The film is getting the Vanguard Award at the Film Fest. Here's my fun interview with Carla Sofia Gascon and her co-star, Adriana Paz. Take a look. A big congrats on Emilia Pérez. I love it. Unpredictable and totally great performances, great ensemble.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Me dio ella, me dio papá, me dio tía.
Emilia Pérez simplemente es una persona que quiere salir de la oscuridad en la que está metida y que lo único que ha hecho es simplemente fingir que es otra persona, que es lo que suelen hacer todos los seres humanos para poder sobrevivir.
¿Dónde está? Por ahora en la morgue.
¿En la morgue?
Love at first sight. It's like heart connection, soul connection. And I think that's why Epifania, it's so important. And many people feel, you know, like very moved because of this character. Because we all have been in love.
Yes.
Or we all have heartbroken. And I think love is a powerful force. And let yourself flow with the force of love. That's Epifania's and Emilia's, you know, and in this moment, Emilia y Epifania is like an epic, you know, it's a moment that their souls connected forever. We all have the opportunity to change. Whatever you want to change, even if it's a little thing. If you are not comfortable with it, don't let the responsibility in others. Just do it.
You have anything to add, Miss Carla?
Lo único que espero es que las personas que vean la película acaben con un sentimiento de que de verdad todos podemos cambiar a mejor y que intenten vivir en un mundo de respeto y de paz y de armonía y de amor.
That's right. Be true to your authentic self. I love that. A big congrats on Emilia Pérez again, and all your Cannes Film Festival wins, and all the award wins, and all the future award wins that you're gonna get. And in the words of the great Emilia Pérez, bingo.
Bingo.
From a green witch to a gladiator, from a wild robot to a stripper, Hollywood gave us big movies with bigger hearts and independent films that gave us all the feels. And I had such a great time talking to the stars and filmmakers of the films and TV shows. Some of my memorable ones were Brittany Howard, who voiced the role of Thelma the Unicorn for Netflix. The film is about showing your true self, and Howard loves my authenticity.
And I feel like as human beings, we need everybody to be individuals, because what we don't have, somebody else has, and we can help each other that way.
You're speaking to the choir, Brittany. I'm all for authenticity.
Yes, and I love that about you.
And I also love the fantastic Lena Dunham of HBO's Girls, who stars in the Holocaust dramedy Treasure. The moment she heard my name,
your energy brings me more joy. When I see your name on the list, I go, fabulousness is to come.
Oh, Miss Lena, you are so sweet. I mean, the last time I spoke with you was for the fantastic Catherine called Birdie.
I will never forget. You gave me so much joy. I remember your outfit waking me up that day and me going, man, I'm lucky to be talking to Manny De La Rosa.
And she finishes it off by saying,
and congrats to you on always making my day and being the most fabulous person on television.
Oh, thank you so much. Really good luck on everything, okay?
An icon.
Ooh, an icon. Did you hear that? But I also loved the fact that I made Zac Efron and Joey King laugh when I talked to them for a family affair.
There's a funny scene here where it's like the grocery store becomes an adventure.
Yeah.
When was the last time you grocery shopped?
It's funny. I've been... that seems kind of close to home. It's a little weird. I can go to the grocery store, don't get me wrong, but it's always like a little bit more of an adventure than I would like. There's always something crazy that happens.
Or when my longtime BFF, Josh Brolin, gave me love and notices my pearly whites.
Let's begin with you, Mr. Josh. Long time no see, by the way.
Long time no see, man. It's
Like-
great to see you again.
Oh, the last time
Your
I saw
teeth are even whiter than they were last time, if possible.
Or some of the male cast members of the Netflix series Outer Banks, noticing my shiny and bright nail.
But yeah, I love your nails, by the way.
Thanks.
Ooh.
All natural.
They're just like,
Kitchen, my ADHD is screaming at me. I'm like,
But besides noticing my clothes or my teeth or my nails, I especially like it when I'm on the same wavelength, like when I interviewed artist turned director Titus Kaffar, who made the criminally underseen Exhibiting Forgiveness.
Congrats on Exhibiting Forgiveness, an affecting and entertaining film about fatherhood, family, hope, and redemption, anchored by fantastic performances all across the board. I love it.
Thank you so much. You know what? You got it dead on. It is a film about hope, about family, a universal story of forgiveness that I think many people can relate to.
And everybody can relate to the awesomeness of Wicked. If you saw the stage version, you will notice something slightly changed for the better in the film. So when I interviewed Ethan Slater, who played the Munchkin Bach in the movie, I mentioned that
Or the Wicked the movie improved on the stage version. I believe like the dancing through life number, right? In the stage version, I feel like Bach, your character, has some contempt against Nessa Rose, but in here, the number becomes like a tango of push and pull of emotions, right? I mean, talk to us about that change.
Wow. That is, you're maybe one of the first people to say that to me, and it's something that was really important to me. So I'm really like, you know, Marissa and I have been talking a lot about how the relationship between Bach and Nessa, it isn't one of pity. It isn't one of contempt, as you said. At least not yet, right? And not here. In this moment, these are two people who are growing to love each other, but in really different ways. And Bach comes to Nessa through Galinda, right? It's not necessarily his idea to approach her, but they do care for each other and they do become really close. And to us, that was a really important part of the story, especially when you're able to sort of live with these characters over the course of 2 movies and spend a little bit more time getting to know us. We really wanted to tap into that nuance and humanity that people really have all the time. Relationships aren't always equal. There is like a complexity to it. And so it's just, thank you for pointing that out.
And I loved knowing that Richard Curtis, the screenwriter who wrote some of the best contemporary romantic comedies like For Weddings and a Funeral, Notting Hill, and Love Actually, has lived in my homeland of the Philippines.
Did you know that I was raised in the Philippines when I was young?
Were you really?
I lived there from 3 till 7, yeah. I think I can remember Malagayan, Pasko, and Too Big, and various other things. I remember Christmas so well in the Philippines because, of course, there was no snow, but all those wonderful lights that people used to put on the top of houses and those beautiful... It's a great place for Christmas.
Well, we're becoming the fastest growing Christmas capital of the world now, right? Because we begin in September, mind you.
Well, that's
as soon as we enter the Burr months, that's the beginning of Christmas. I'm so glad to know that. Thank you so much for telling me that.
And finally, I adored Ralph Fiennes and Juliette Binoche. From Wuthering Heights to The English Patient, their chemistry is palpable. So when I interviewed them for the recent The Return, I was so happy to see that friendship in real life.
Think about it all you like, but you don't know how it's going to play until you do it.
You see how intense he is? You see how amazing and intense he is? It's quite remarkable.
Oh, I'm
He's
so
a
sorry.
good friend and an amazing
I'm so sorry,
actor.
you guys. I'm out of time, but a big congrats on The Return again. And I hope you guys return to the big screen together for the 4th time. You'll wait.
Thank you.
And that concludes our special look at 2024, the year at the movies. Looking forward to enjoying films with you again in 2025. Hope you have a magical, wonderful, and powerful new year.